Good morning, Lompoc.
Good morning, Lompoc.
Why are you being so soft? I
decided to have fun.
You were muted for a second.
We're kind of matching today, so I thought
we are.
How was your weekend, Michelle?
My weekend was good.
We had a good weekend.
Yeah.
We got to go outside a little bit.
We went outside. Yes, I'm like, what do we do this weekend?
How was your guys' weekend? We hope you all had a good weekend with your family and friends.
Man, it was windy. Oh my gosh! And hopefully you didn't blow over in the wind this weekend.
Yeah, it's a little bit crazy, but we're all here. We're so glad that you're joining us.
Yeah.
Michelle, we got a few new watchers, some new folks that have started to pay attention to our little show. So we're very grateful for our new viewers. And I thought maybe for fun, real quick, just a recap of what this show is about and what we're trying to do. What do you?
So we started this show back in March. If you weren't with us then, and we just wanted to add a little positivity when everything was going on in light of COVID and sheltering in place. So that's what we're trying to do, is just add a little positivity, try not to talk about politics, and just focus on the good things that are happening in our own community. So
and it's been I almost forgot, but today is our 30th episode.
Yep.
30 episodes, and you all have joined us and stayed with us and supported us and stayed excited and sent us ideas, and we're so grateful.
Yeah.
But 30 episodes, unbelievable. If you've only seen a couple, you can see all the old ones on YouTube and Facebook.
They're
really
watch
good,
them.
especially the first ones.
Oh my gosh,
when
bad.
Michelle was really, really nervous.
I'm still nervous. Okay, we got to move on. You talk so much. So we wanted to celebrate the graduating class of 2020 and talk about some of the seniors. So Cabrillo High School, Lompoc High School, Maple High School. So we've got some fun photos from that to look at. But just a quick recap of today's show. We had a chance to meet with Tracy Allred. Tracy is an equine bodyworker here in Lompoc, out on LaSalle Road, and she rescues horses that would otherwise be considered to most likely be put down because they either have health problems or mobility issues, or maybe they weren't winners when it came to racing,
or they're just misunderstood.
So we had a really awesome experience with Tracy, and it was my first time petting a horse ever. I didn't realize when I first walked into the arena that I had never gotten that close to a horse, and all that fear just flooded me. And
well, they are like 1,000-pound animals.
They are huge. I just
totally
did not think about that. So that was a really neat experience. So there's a couple fun clips from that. And then,
I've been around horses a couple times, so I was just like nuzzling.
They were amazing.
It was pretty.
Oh my God,
sweet.
it filled my soul. That's for sure.
Yeah. But we wanted to share this story because we're excited to just showcase the diversity of people here and the good things that they try to do in their own lives or in this valley. And this is just a great little story. So,
and then we have, of course, our favorite weatherman. He'll be on soon to give us the weather update for this week.
Yes.
And then we had a chance to talk to Kimberly Todd, who is going to give Jeremy a drawing lesson. And then a couple months ago now, we interviewed Gary James, longtime Lompoc local, 5th generation, and he had originally reached out to us and sent us a couple children's books that he'd written and had illustrated, and he has a really cool short little story about that, and we wanted to give away some books too. So anyways, that's our show. I'll start with the graduation stuff.
Okay, awesome. So I didn't get a chance to get out there, so special thanks to Lynn Wood, who shoots fantastic photos for the Lompoc Record. If you're not a subscriber, they've got a really good deal right now for 3 months for like $3. So anyway, Lompoc Record, Willis Jacobson and Lynn Wood, they're covering this valley so well and keeping us updated on all the happenings. So thank you again to Lynn Wood for these photos, most of them. After this one, for sure. Go back to that last slide if it's easy.
I can't.
Oh, no problem. But we wanted to shout out to the principal at Lompoc High School. I would butcher his last name, but he served 19 years and is moving on to either a new position. But anyway, he's been celebrated for that. These are just a few photos from the graduation at Lompoc High School. It was a drive-through graduation. Staff supporting. This was a young lady who was killed tragically here in town last year, and they commemorated her, gave her a tribute, which I thought was very sweet.
And then you've got Cabrillo High School,
Cabrillo did their thing. Again, great shots from Linwood. This is Eddie Lopez. But anyway, it was just great to see people adapt under the circumstances.
That's such a cool drive-by.
To the new
right?
To the new challenge.
It's like drive-bys have taken on a whole new name or illustration in our minds now.
There's
right?
a good friend, Jen Knight, with her son Aaron Knight, who graduated from Cabrillo High School.
And then we have Maple High School.
So you guys know me. I'm a big fan of Maple High School because that's where redemption happens for so many really intelligent, incredible kids that need a second chance. And oh my gosh, they had such a great graduating class this year. This guy right here, Jose, I meant to grab the video, but he made such an incredible speech. I think when he had started, he was basically a D-, and somehow kept his head down and figured things out and graduated and is now on his way to Berkeley.
That's amazing.
Are you kidding me?
That's amazing. Yeah. It's like impossible to get into Berkeley.
So,
wow, that's so cool.
Anyway, that's an incredible story. So I want to celebrate that. One of our officers here from Lompoc Police Department out there supporting.
Awesome.
I thought that was really sweet. And Principal Katie Wallace out there. She's kind of in charge of the whole show, and they had to adapt pretty greatly to make it all happen. So anyways, thanks to all the administrators and teachers and faculty for changing the way they do things to still make these kids who really earned it, make them feel very special.
And then we got to adopt a couple seniors.
Yeah.
I feel like that was a new thing. I've never seen that happen before where you adopt a senior. And so I think that was a really special way to make everyone feel like a little bit more celebrated. And I got to meet a couple, well, not in person, but just learn more about a couple seniors who I had no idea. And I think it was a great way for the community to connect with some of these, some of our next generation here in Lompoc. So these were our seniors that we adopted.
We had Serena on the left. We had Sandra from Maple High School on the right.
Yeah.
We're just super proud of them and making it to the finish line, and we can't wait to see what they can do in the future.
Yep.
So we're going to try to stay in touch and see what happens.
So congratulations.
Yes, congratulations. And there are so many kids that graduated. It's an insane number. We couldn't cover everybody. But anyway, if you know graduates or somebody that's got graduates, don't forget to give them a little extra love this year because, things are a little crazy.
Definitely. So we also, obviously, there's been, we covered a few of the activists on Friday's show and talked a little bit about the successful, peaceful protest here in Lompoc. And there's been a few that have been held after that. So there was a die-in on Saturday night.
Yeah, which we attended. Now, I know that sounds weird to you, but it was to commemorate all those that have lost their lives. It was, again, very peaceful.
Yep.
And on Thursday, this past Thursday, the NAACP hosted a function and a
over at
peaceful
Coast
protest
Hills.
at Coast Hills. So this week, again, it's been, considering everything that's going on in the world or the country, again, Lompoc has come together, has focused on the peaceful protest, and I'd like to think that we're starting to connect with other folks in our community and start to have this dialogue and conversation to figure out what Lompoc can do.
And one of the things that many of the activists have been saying, and I keep hearing about too, is to really educate yourself, learn a little bit more about history and what's happened so that you can really understand maybe just some of the response and the anger and, where a lot of people are coming from who are not like you. So I have a podcast that I know I'm a podcast like junkie.
All the podcasts.
But I love NPR podcasts, and they have a podcast called Throughline, which is just awesome. They basically look at current events, and they look at the things that have happened in history that have created these scenarios that we're in right now. And I mean, it was very timely that this podcast came out last Wednesday. So check it out. This is on the history of American police. And I had no idea that some of this stuff happened, but basically the early history of policing up until it was more formalized was really to control minorities, to control the poor, to keep essential workers working and keep them out of areas that they didn't want them in. And it was... I mean, I actually listened to it a couple times because it was so much information, and I still can't quite digest it all. But one of the things, just in addition, obviously the 13th Amendment, for example, which 1865 freed the slaves. After that, the South found a loophole that basically said that yes, they can be free as long as they're not criminals. So all they had to do was make it criminal for them to do just about everything. And one of the few things that was not criminalized was for them to work for white people under white laws or under their laws. So that was pretty interesting. And it wasn't until 1894 that Police Brutality Commission was formed, and that actually took a deep dive into what was going on.
1894.
1894, and they found just...
So I guess the point is
it's pretty overwhelming. So I think the point that I'm trying to make is that there's reason why we have gotten to this point, and there's a reason why we're still talking about it. Yeah. So and unless we can continue to talk about it and have these conversations and push for change, we're not going to get there. So
and I want to give it again, we're just starting to scratch the surface. We were challenged. A really great challenge from Ray Lynn, who we interviewed this past week, and that was do your homework. Yep. So this is just a new little section. We're not trying to go super in depth with it, but we're challenging our audience. If you didn't know about some of these things, it's not that hard to find. And if you want to dig deeper, there's some really incredible stories here.
And you found this about Ella Fitzgerald. This was pretty fascinating.
I'm a piano player. Some of you don't know that, but I was raised improving and playing jazz. So I had just huge appreciation for jazz. And there's this beautiful story, and it's a little bit mythical, but the true part of it is that before Ella Fitzgerald became famous, she was playing smaller clubs in Los Angeles, Hollywood area, I believe. And Marilyn Monroe heard her at one of these smaller clubs, and she called a place called the Macombo, I think that's what it's called. And it was a really famous, highfalutin club, but they didn't really do jazz. Ella was not the first black musician or singer to play there. I think she was the third or fourth. But because of Marilyn calling this place and saying, look, if you'll hire her for a week, I'll sit in the front row, and you know how exciting that's going to be for the press. So, and there's some really great interviews in the past with Ella talking about that relationship with Marilyn. But it was just a beautiful story. Marilyn taking a stand for trying to push something that she really appreciated and helped to develop an amazing career for Ella Fitzgerald. So I just thought, I don't know, that's a pretty awesome little piece of history. So Google that, look that up. Ella Fitzgerald and Marilyn Monroe.
That was a really cool story. And then you also had a little bit of background on the Green Book, which I didn't get to read that article that you sent me yet.
I think that was the movie, right? The Green Book? Anyway, I haven't seen the Green Book. But this is a really interesting story, and this is Condé Nast, I think, or however you say that.
Condé Nast.
But there's this, I think it started in the 30s. This was the Green Book was like a AAA book for African Americans to know what black-owned businesses they could go to or where they could stay. And you have to imagine 30s and 40s and 50s, automobiles and travel throughout America was becoming a very big thing. So just look into the Green Book, the history of the Green Book. And there's, again, pictures and lots of details and history. And I think it kind of fizzled out in the 60s, the late 60s, I believe. But again, just an incredible story that I hadn't really dug into. So again, I'm not going to give you every single detail, but please do your homework. Go check it out.
Yep. So anyways, next we have a weather update from our favorite weatherman, Danny Miranda.
Good morning, Lompoc. I love the weather guy, Danny Miranda. Here with your easy report. This week does not feel like summer. Temperatures rising to 80 degrees. Tuesday and Wednesday. Then that's hot. Leave it to Lompoc to drop down to the 60s, 60s, and 70s.
Thank you so much, Danny. We're so happy to have you. Danny did quit last week. He quit last Monday after the show. And then
he went on strike.
And so we agreed to double his pay, and he's back. So we appreciate you, Danny. Thank you for coming back.
How many brownies does he get now? Like a whole jar? At least.
If you know Brittany and you've ever had her blonde brownies, oh my God.
Don't do that, Brittany.
Brittany is Danny's mom, I should say. So, anyways, thank you so much, Danny.
Thanks to both of you.
We really appreciate you giving us the weather so that I know how to dress every morning.
Yeah. So before we jump into our interview with Tracy about the horses, just maybe remind us how this story came about.
Well, Tracy actually reached out to us. So she reached out and said, would you have any interest in doing checking out what I'm doing here at my ranch? Or No, you would call it a ranch, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
She does equine body work, but it's a lot more than that. She tries to rehabilitate these horses that nobody wants, or that are injured and need help. But she also helps other people with their horses, whether they need to better understand their horse or create those relationships. So she teaches horsemanship and training, and she's a busy lady.
She's a really passionate lady about this cause. And we just in the hour or two that we spent with her in a couple days, we just fell in love with all the horses.
Yes.
And, anyway, they're amazing creatures, and we thought, this is who doesn't love horses? So let's show off some.
Well, and we thought, especially for the kids, I'm sure the kids would love some horses. So this is Tracy.
Yuri is 21 years old, and he and Mac, he spent his entire life with Mac.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
We call him the Walmart greeter.
Hi.
This is the one that changed everything. And now he's like, what are y'all doing? It's my goal in life to make people think about horses differently and to find out why they're acting the way that they act, and that's how all of these guys got here. Nobody else wanted them. They abused them. They were afraid of them. Whatever the situation may be, they're here now. And they're here for life. I don't ever give up on a horse, ever. It doesn't matter to me, if I can ride him, it doesn't matter.
But how did you figure out this is what you're supposed to grow up and do?
I grew up in a riding school, so I used to take lessons and do all that kind of stuff in Chicago. Then I joined the military, and when I met my husband, we moved to England, and I became a British Horse Society instructor. And I noticed a thoroughbred horse sitting in a stall with a blanket on that nobody ever talked to or checked in on, and I asked about her. And they said, oh, she's really mean. Like, if you try to feed her, she'll come at you and she'll bite you. And that's what all the girls at this British Horse Society certified riding school told me. So I ended up eating my lunch with that horse. Then I found out her story. She raced 12 times, never won. So like with the Arabians, they got rid of her. Somebody tried to use her as an eventing horse, jumping, doing dressage, and she would have fits, just out of the blue fits, and buck people off and go crazy. So I ended up adopting her and got some weight on her and started taking care of her. When I put her out in a pasture, she had been in a stall for so long that she freaked out in nature. She didn't know what to do in her own world, which was the saddest thing to me. So I took her to Cambridge Equine Veterinary Hospital in England, and they did a bone scan on her, and they said, yeah, she's neurologic, she's not safe to ride. So I was trying to rehabilitate her. She would walk 12 steps and trip 6. It broke my heart to pieces, and I swore I'd never get a horse again as long as I lived. And then I got here, and 6 weeks later, I had Mac. So I got him in 1999. He was diagnosed neurologic, same disease as my thoroughbred had, in 2013. That whole thing got me thinking, why couldn't I fix him? Why couldn't I learn how to, I already know how to heal horses emotionally and mentally. Why couldn't I learn how to do it physically? So I did. He's not fixed, but some things can't be fixed, and you have to learn that too. So it's a whole story of learning and growing, and also learning to let go, and horses are great teachers of that. Normally, people come to me when they've tried everybody else. Normally, people come to me when they have a problem with their horse. I will go out and I will assess the situation for free, because not everybody agrees with what I do. Somebody does just want a quick fix. I'm not a quick fix. I'm not just about, your horse is bucking, here, let me help you with that. I see it all. I see the whole horse and I see the whole human, and we have to get those two on the same page. So I just want to make the world a better place for horses, and I can do that with my own. But in order to make the world better for horses everywhere, you have to get to the humans. I love horses more than I can even say. I really do. And I really try and honor and respect them and try to get people to do the same thing. I've never seen a mean horse, not once, ever. People will say, that's a mean horse, he's gonna bite you. Well, if you're aware of the situation and you see a horse, they might bite you. They all bite, they all kick, they all rear, they all stand up on their hind legs, they all do those things because they're horses. So in my opinion, you cannot expect a horse to not be a horse. It's just how you deal with them being a horse and understanding why they do the things that they do.
Thank you so much, Tracy. I learned so much about horses when I was there.
I just love kissing the horses.
I think Jeremy just like snuggling with him.
Yeah.
So, oh my gosh, there was the one horse, Yuri, who was the very first one. He just kept nuzzling Jeremy's ear. And then for me, because I kind of just kept hiding, I kept just trying to move to a different place and just look at him from afar. But Yuri wouldn't leave me alone. And finally, he just came up right behind me and like literally like nudged me with his nose.
Wouldn't take no for an answer.
Wouldn't take no for an answer. And finally, I was just like, okay, I'll pet him. And it was pretty amazing.
Yeah, I'm really proud of you.
Oh, it felt so good.
Yeah.
Oh, I really enjoyed it. So I hope
I think her adrenaline was through the roof.
Yeah.
The first part.
I hope to get back out there and learn a little bit more. I don't think I ever have a desire to ride a horse. I'd rather just like feel comfortable like petting them.
Yeah,
So.
you never know. But yeah, it's a start. So.
Yes.
Thank you again to Tracy
Thank you
for
so much,
doing
Tracy.
incredible work out there and just sharing your story with us. And it just makes our day to just meet folks that are passionate about something and are executing on that idea here in the Lompoc Valley. So
And if you can actually find her Facebook page too. If you have a horse that maybe you need help with, you can find her Facebook page. I believe it's, even if you just Google Tracy Allred, equine bodyworker, and so much more, I think is what it's called. So yeah.
Anyway, great story. And that's out on LaSalle Road, which is also where you go, the road you take to get to Dare to Dream Farms.
Yes.
And I know we didn't said something about birthdays, but I just saw it pop up that it's Jeremy Raff's birthday today. So Jeremy, the best name ever. Happy birthday to Jeremy Raff.
Happy birthday, Jeremy Raff.
Out at Dare to Dream Farm.
Yes.
I hope you have an amazing Monday for your birthday.
So next we have a little video from Kimberly Todd, and she is going to teach Jeremy how to draw an elephant head. So Jeremy, get your paper out, and I think you need you to follow along. So here we go.
Okay. All right.
Thank you, Lompoc, for watching my video on how to draw the elephant. Bye! So what you're going to need is a piece of paper, a Sharpie, pencil, an eraser if you need one, and a cup. Grab our pencil, put our cup in the center of our paper, and go around it in a circle. Okay, now I'm going to lift up the glass cup, and there's a very good circle. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna draw its ears. Imagine you're drawing a butterfly wing just on an elephant. It does not have to be perfect too. Now what you need to do is you need to draw its trunk. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna go from the center of the elephant's head, and you're just gonna draw a line and draw a little circle over it so it looks like it's there. After you're done with that, draw its eyes. So what I do for my eyes is I just draw 2 ovals and I make him looking this way. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make him have a little grin. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw some little hairs up here. This is optional too. There you go, you have your elephant. And now what I'm going to do is outline it. So I have my Sharpie. I have 2 pieces of paper so it does not get on the table. So I'm gonna start with his trunk first. So next I'm gonna do the circle, and I stop when I get to the trunk so I don't actually go through the trunk. You can make it a girl or a boy. Mine's gonna be a girl. Boom. And then now what you're gonna do is you're gonna color it. So I'm gonna fast forward this part so it doesn't take forever. this is how my elephant turned out. Bye.
Thank you so much, Kimberly.
Whew, I didn't have any color pens.
I
forgot to think, but I did it as quickly as I could, and I messed up a little bit.
Pretty good.
That's what I got.
That looks great.
Thank you, Kimberly.
Yeah.
I am not good at drawing, but I'm going to keep practicing.
And we're going to put this on our refrigerator.
Oh, we are?
Yeah.
Oh, I feel so... Are you going to pay me for this art?
Possibly.
Can I sell it to you?
Possibly.
Yeah. Maybe I could sell it to you guys out there. What do you think?
So do you want to introduce these books here?
Sure.
I can get it
Let's
loaded
see. Yeah,
here.
no problem. So again, Gary James just reached out to us right when we started our show and just had so much information, and his backstory and heritage here on Lompoc is just amazing. But he's a creative soul. He's a singer. He loves writing. So yeah, he put together an incredible children's book, and we meant to talk about this a week or two ago. But
like a month ago.
That's okay, but never too late. So anyway, this book is called A Lofty Tale, and there is some amazing, so the words and music are great.
Let's let him tell the story, and so let's check it out.
Yeah, okay.
Do you want to talk a little bit about the book that you wrote? I know you're a musician, and this was really beautiful.
Thank you.
I just love the imagery.
Thank you very much. In my early 20s, I had a little motorcycle, and I used to drive it around town. And one time I was going out on Foothill to Goleta, and it was the most perfect, glorious morning. And I started singing this silly song. I just started singing it, like. And when I got to my destination, I grabbed some paper and I started writing it down. I mean, it was really, really like magical in a way, because I don't remember putting effort into that song. It was just like, boom, here's a lofty tale. So for years, many years, off and on, I keep thinking, oh yeah, one day I'd love to have that turned into a children's book, because it's such a great little story. And I ran into Megan, who's the artist, who I already knew from ever. We've always enjoyed each other. Tremendous artist. She lives in Carpinteria. So I said, well, Megan, blah, 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 I've got this song, would you be interested in having a meeting? And she said, yeah. So that's what happened. But I decided during this lockdown that we're all experiencing to put a little box on the front picket fence that says "Take One," for the kids, and they've been disappearing. Like one or two a day have been taken, and yeah, people have been walking this. A lot of people walk this street, and so people have been taking them, which feels wonderful. It's never been about making a buck. It's always been about what a great little message, what a happy song, what fun illustrations, and the money is inconsequential. I probably would never recoup what I put into it, but I don't care.
Hey, billowy pillowin' a-flying in the sky. Hey, billowy pillowin' a cloud and I. The cloud did bow unto the earth and gently put me down. We broke into a dance of love, a-whirling round and round. Alas, the cloud did break away and bid me fond adieu. I winked an eye and said I, God bless you. I winked an eye and said I, God bless you.
So that was just
Really
a
cool
little
project.
snippet of the
Yes.
full song. So we couldn't play the whole thing on there. But if you want to check it out, you can go to that Intertunes Publishing website.
And the book itself is
on
available
Amazon.
on Amazon. So if you're
Yeah.
curious, it's called A Lofty Tale. Now
And
here's
it's just a really positive message, I think, is the whole idea.
It's just
And
great.
it's something to sing to your kids. And I
yes,
think it's a cute
and they'll
idea.
sing it to you.
Yes,
probably.
exactly.
So here's the fun part. Gary gave us a couple
A
of
few
books,
copies.
a few extra copies to give away to a couple of kids in our audience. So we were trying to rack our brains, like who should we give it to, and we couldn't figure it out. So we're going to put it on you guys, parents, if your kids aren't listening, or kids, if you're listening. Here's our challenge. We're going to give 2 books away, and all we're asking is for the kids to write a short paragraph, maybe 3 to 5 sentences.
Or do a little video of
Or a
them.
little video.
Yep.
And here's the only thing they have to write about or talk about on video is why you love Lompoc.
Yep.
That's it. So if you're open to that, and again, you don't have to overthink it, just a short paragraph or a short little video. And then from those, we'll look at those and see which one, and then we'll give 2 of those books away.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's what we're going to do.
Yeah, so thank you so much,
So
Gary.
you can message us. You can send us on goodmorninglompoc@gmail.com.
Or you can shoot us an email, goodmorninglompoc@gmail. Is that what you just said?
I just said that. Mm-hmm. That's
I
good.
clearly,
There's
I
an
don't
echo.
listen to him. He's
An echo.
because he's my husband. I don't listen.
And on Facebook, you can message us on the Good Morning Lompoc page. And we're on Instagram, so you can message us there. But anyway, maybe we'll give it over this week.
Yeah.
By the end of this week, we'll see what we've got in terms of submissions, and then we'll give those books away. So thank you again to Gary for hooking us up with those and doing such a nice thing. So
Yep. Thank you to everyone for helping us with this show. Thank you to Tracy for reaching out to us, and Gary James for all the information and historical segments that we put together in the past. And then our weatherman, Danny Miranda. Thank you for showing up every week and giving us the weather, and for Kimberly Todd for helping Jeremy
a lot of work we got to work on that. So here's the deal. Here's the new format. Again, this is the week where we're not doing Wednesdays anymore. So our next show will be Friday morning at 8:30. And we're still working through this, but we're enjoying telling stories. So Mondays we're keeping a little bit more about the kids and a lot more different and varied content. On Fridays we want to dig a little bit deeper into some of the stories that we started to tell this past Friday. There's so many great people here in this town, and it would take us a lifetime to get through all of them, but we want to at least start. So Friday is going to be a little bit more serious and a little deeper dive into Lompoc. So look forward to that. Thank you all.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. I hope you have a wonderful week, and we'll see you Friday. Here is your moment of Zen.
Thank you, Jacob Cole.